Am I the asshole for not wanting to pay for my son's dentist? My ex-wife Lena and I have a son, Matt, 6 male, and I have 50-50 custody. We don't have such a healthy co-parenting. We avoid each other most of the time, and everything in relation to the routine. And Matt, we resolve it through an app. All expenses related to our son, such as school, doctors, and others, we split 50-50. I'm a dentist, to be clear, and until last year before we separated, I took care of my son about this. Recently, she sent a message to me through the app, letting me know that the dentist appointment was X amount, and for us to pay 50-50. I asked if something emergency had happened. She said no, just routine. And I asked why she didn't just let me know and I would take care of it. Her response was that now she has her own dentist and went through him since our kid was with her and would be more easy. I agreed, but asked what the point of, because it would literally be free if it was done by me. She kind of snapped me and said she expected payment from me. I replied that I would see, because I don't refuse to pay anything for Matt, especially for health reasons. But a stupid expense like that doesn't make sense, and she can afford it if she simply prefers to pay for something that I do for free. She was not happy. She said that this was an expense for our son that we agreed to share, and I was refusing to do so, considering that I am his father and that she was not obliged to choose me as a dentist. We do have an agreement to split 50-50, but for me, this is the most absurd expense she had charged me, because I would understand if it was something emergency or outside my specialty, but a routine appointment. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. Yes, she is mom, but this is a medical decision. Changing doctors should be something that is agreed on, not done unilaterally. I would look at the specific verbiage of the divorce decree. Do you have rights regarding medical care? Are you listed as his dentist? This sounds like she is deliberately just trying to make you pay extra, even if she has to pay extra to make you do so. Agreed? She's definitely doing this because she knew Op would make a stink about it. Who in the world, especially in this time, would pay extra for something someone would do for free? Not the asshole. You state you have 50-50 custody, so I'm going to assume that means you also have joint decision-making. Changing doctors would definitely qualify under that. Since you have 50-50 and you're a dentist, maybe just be the one to keep on that and make sure the cleanings and routine stuff is done on your time. Not the asshole. She's clearly doing it just to be spiteful. There's no other reason for her to do that, considering you're a dentist. Toxic behavior. No assholes here. As someone whose dad was a dentist, I want you to think through if you want to press this. We asked our mom to go elsewhere because we were starting to associate dad with pain/anxiety, and we didn't want to tell him. We weren't afraid of him, but we didn't want to hurt his feelings. Am I the asshole for telling the teachers that my daughter's bully being a foster kid isn't an excuse to be a brat? My 36 female daughter, 11 female, has a close-knit group of 5 best friends with whom she does everything together. At her school, students have to sit in the same seat for every single lesson. And my daughter and her best friends all sit together at one table. There is another little girl in my daughter's class called Winnie. Once, Winnie came to sit at my daughter's table when one of her friends was off sick. That day, Winnie constantly knocked my daughter's books and pens off the table on accident, and borrowed her stationery only to snap one of her rubbers, stain her highlighter with black ink, and was even found with my daughter's pens in her pocket. One morning, Winnie came to school crying nonstop. The teacher was very sympathetic and asked if there was anything she could do to help. Winnie said she wanted my daughter removed from her seat so she could have it, and the teacher agreed. The only empty seats left were all the way in the back corner of the classroom opposite her friends, and the only students sitting there were a girl who was known to be a delinquent and 2 older boys who had been held back. The teacher refused to give my daughter a real explanation for why she had to move seats, instead saying some generic stuff about being kind to those less fortunate. My daughter cried for a week straight. In our country, the school year ends in December, so that's over 7 months of being isolated from her closest friends. She's also starting high school next year and will be attending a private school, while her friends are going to a public school, so this is the last time she can hang out with them every day. A few days ago, I was called into school because my daughter had gotten into an argument with Winnie. Winnie had confided in my daughter's friends about how she had gone into foster care after her parents overdosed. Winnie was always a loner at school and wanted some girls to sit with during this time, and the teacher sympathized with her, so she agreed. The only reason my daughter had to move was because there wasn't enough space for 7 girls, and my daughter was simply the one Winnie liked the least. and she admitted to lying to the teacher about being uncomfortable around my daughter to get her moved. When my daughter found this out, she told Winnie she didn't understand why she had to pay the price just because Winnie's parents were a bunch of insane criminals who didn't want her anymore. I know Winnie's had a hard time, but so has my daughter. Her older brother passed away only months ago. I told the teachers that Winnie isn't the only child going through a tough time, and I didn't understand why my daughter had to be punished for another girl's struggles, as if she wasn't suffering herself. The teachers wanted me to make my daughter apologize for her remarks, and I said it was their fault for punishing her and forcing her to sit with the problem kids despite doing nothing wrong. And they were downplaying my daughter's grief and trauma to cater to a brat. Am I the asshole? This sounds like blatant favoritism. Unfortunately, I don't think any school system on the planet has solved the problem of teachers showing favoritism. Here in America, I would advise you to go to the teacher you have, then the principal, and if all that fails, go to the superintendent or school board if things get bad enough. One thing is for sure, start a paper trail if you can. If you can email the teacher and principal, do that. CC whoever you should. Unrecorded conversations in person practically don't count. If you do have such a conversation, email the person you talked to afterwards, outlining the things you talked about, and try to get them to confirm what was said. Good luck. I had a file 3 inches thick by the time I was done with my kids' school. I got a member of the superintendent's office to come to meetings where they tried to say, oh, we gave her a copy. You did. You see this file? I saved every GD piece of paper all of you morons gave me. I won the war and happily gave them the middle finger when we relocated to a new state. Everyone sucks here, and I do mean everyone. The best solution would have been for the teacher to redo the seating plan. She shouldn't have allowed a clique to form and become entrenched. I say this as a teacher. In the school where I was required to have a seating plan, I changed it pretty much every few weeks or when there was an issue. I almost never just moved 1 or 2 kids, unless they both requested it and it made sense. I generally started plans using a random name selector and then made adjustments to prevent problems. But I figured it did kids good to learn how to be near and work with a wide array of other people rather than just their friends. Your daughter was completely out of line with what she said and absolutely owes the other girl an apology. You would be missing a vital teaching opportunity if you did not help her to do so. You are an asshole for being so close-minded that you can't see that it's a classroom full of children who all have different backgrounds that you are not privy to. You are also an asshole for wanting to encourage the cool kid clique and referring to your kid as being punished when she was simply moved elsewhere. When my kids were younger and had tables, I know their teachers mixed things up pretty regularly. Fair enough, but this system is not being applied, so OP-daughter is being forced against her will for others' convenience. If the teacher in question had a system to sort all the seats every few weeks, and OP complained about it, yes, he would be an asshole. But this is not the case. OP-daughter is being forced to move seats just because the teacher wants to. This is not fair. She is being biased and showing blatant favoritism towards another student that don't have any sort of privilege. Well, that's another episode of Am I the Asshole in the Books? I really appreciate all of you who made it this far into the video. Of course, if you enjoyed this video, it would really help the channel out a lot if you gave the video a thumbs up, subscribe, or leave a comment down below. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.